Welcome to the news for all the world. Today we bring you a major update on the ongoing conflict in Gaza and the latest push from the Trump administration for what could be a critical hostage and ceasefire deal. President Trump has announced that he expects a successful conclusion to the negotiations within the next few days. In his own words, he called it a great deal for Israel and for the Arab world and said it will last a couple of days and is going very well. This statement has put international attention back on the talks and raised expectations that an end to the violence might finally be within reach. The story matters because it is more than just another round of talks. The Trump administration is applying significant pressure on both Israel and Hamas to move fast and finalize the agreement without delay. The stakes are very high. The implication is that a major diplomatic push is underway to stop the war and shift the regional dynamics. Both sides are under pressure to compromise, and the world is watching closely to see if they can agree on terms. The timeline of negotiations is already set. Technical negotiations between Israeli and Hamas delegations are scheduled to begin Monday in Egypt. This will mark a critical moment in the peace efforts. Later in the week, senior U.S. officials, including Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, will arrive to join the talks and apply further pressure on both parties. Their involvement signals how serious the Trump administration is about pushing this deal forward quickly. These are not just routine diplomatic visits. Their presence is meant to push the talks across the finish line. The current status of the talks shows progress but also highlights hurdles that still remain. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that 90% of the work is already done and that this is the closest they have ever been to a deal. That sounds encouraging, but officials also admit that the last 10% is the hardest part. The urgency is clear. Rubio stressed that the deal cannot take weeks. It must be finalized quickly or it risks falling apart. Negotiations at this stage are fragile. If the parties drag their feet, the momentum will be lost and the progress already made could collapse. The sticking points are complex. One is finalizing logistics for the hostage and prisoner exchange. This involves sensitive lists of names, locations, and security guarantees. Another is the scope of the initial Israeli withdrawal. How much territory will Israel pull back from, and on what timeline? Then there is the list of Palestinian prisoners to be released, a deeply emotional and political issue on both sides. Each of these points is tough on its own, and together they represent the most difficult part of the deal. Both sides want maximum gain with minimum concession, but they must compromise if this deal is to succeed. President Trump has also made clear that threats are part of the leverage. He warned Hamas that if it refuses to give up power in Gaza, it faces complete obliteration. That warning is both a signal of the U.S. commitment to Israel and a tool to pressure Hamas into compliance. It raises the stakes for Hamas leaders. They must decide between continuing the fight at enormous cost or accepting terms that could change the future of Gaza. The broader political context also explains why this push is happening now. The Trump administration has openly said that one of the main reasons to end the war is Israel's growing international isolation and damaged global standing. Many countries have criticized Israel's actions in Gaza, and the pressure on Israel's government has increased sharply. By pushing for a deal, the U.S. is trying to protect Israel's global position while also claiming a diplomatic victory. The calculation is clear. If the war continues, Israel's isolation will deepen. If it ends, both Israel and the U.S. can argue that they brought peace. On the question of a Palestinian state, the Trump administration has restated its position. It supports a two-state solution in principle. But there is a major condition. Any Palestinian state must be negotiated directly with Israel, and only after clear security conditions are met. The administration insists that such a state cannot be governed by Hamas or any group dedicated to Israel's destruction. That condition places strong limits on what Palestinians can expect in the near future. It is a vision of a state that comes only after Hamas is removed from power and after security guarantees are in place. Looking forward, the world will be watching the technical talks in Cairo starting Monday. These talks will set the stage for whether the deal is real or just another false start. The arrival of U.S. envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner later in the week will add more pressure. Their role will be to push both sides to close the gaps and resolve the hardest issues. The key question is whether the remaining logistical and procedural hurdles can be overcome in the coming days, as the Trump administration insists, is critical. If progress is made quickly, there could be an announcement within days. If not, the momentum could collapse, and the chance for peace may vanish again. The world has seen many rounds of talks before, but this time the stakes are higher. The war has gone on too long, the cost has been too high, and the pressure on leaders is greater than ever. President Trump has tied his reputation to the success of these negotiations. For Israel, the need to repair its global standing is urgent. For Hamas, the choice is survival or destruction. For the Palestinian people, the hope is freedom and dignity. For the international community, the goal is stability in a region that has seen too much conflict. As the talks begin in Cairo, all eyes will be on the negotiators. Every word, every gesture, every signal will matter. The next few days could decide the future of Gaza, Israel, and the broader Middle East. The Trump administration has made clear it wants results now, not later. The question is whether both sides are ready to make the compromises needed to turn this fragile opportunity into a lasting deal. Thank you for watching the news for all the world. If you found this update useful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more breaking news from around the globe.